Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sofa Series Artist Spotlight. Today, with me is the incredible Shiri Magar, who's sheltering in place in Tel Aviv. Thank you for joining
Yes.
me.
Hello. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Ah, man, yes. Isn't that at the end we have to end with like a really high note, don't we? Isn't that
Yes, of
how we
course.
end all of your videos? Great. I
Yes.
will comply. My neighbors will hate me at 9 in the morning. They're used to it by now. So, Sherry, darling, tell us a little bit. Give us like the little rundown of your life. Where are you from? Where have you been? And yeah, I guess how did you end up back in Tel Aviv?
So I was born in Israel and I have lived here for my entire life until I was 20 years old when I moved to Boston. I always loved music and singing. I think when I was 3 years old, I didn't let people out of the house before they had to sit down on the couch and watch me perform. so, so it's something that has always been with me, like this,
That's so
this,
good.
um, I don't know, I'm really attracted to stage and performance and singing. And when I was in high school, I was in a special department for musicians. And, in Israel, it's mandatory to serve in the army. So I served in the army for 2 years. I got into two very cool programs. One of them is a special program for excellent musicians, and it's very competitive. It's really not so easy to get into it. And I also got to the intelligence program to explore some things in space, like with satellites and stuff like that. And so I have chosen to
What?
be a musician, and my parents almost killed me. My mom until today, she's like, I saw on TV, like on news, that the satellite unit is doing something really cool, and you are not in
even
it.
still, even still, she comes to you about
Even
this.
still
Oh my
today,
god.
yeah. Um,
That's so
but
sweet.
I really love music, and
Yeah.
so I decided after the army, or while I was in the army, I went to New York and Boston to do some auditions for music schools, and I got into the Boston Conservatory where we studied together.
Yes, with Dr. Folsom. Ah,
Yes,
a wonderful woman.
our amazing teacher, voice
Yeah.
teacher, and actually the 5 years I spent in Boston, where I did my bachelor's and master's degrees, they were, I think, one of the most fabulous period of times of my life.
Yeah.
I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to live abroad and to have this incredible experience, because in Israel, um, I feel that I would have gotten a completely different experience. So in Boston has a very warm place in my
Yeah.
heart.
Which is
Then I
ironic because it is
graduated.
very cold. Cool.
And I used to love
You loved
I used to
it?
love I used to love winter before I came to Boston. And then after I left Boston, I became a summer person, even though in Israel it's like really, really hot and humid in the summer.
Yeah.
Even right now, maybe I'm sweating a little bit because it's really
But
hot.
your hair looks glorious, so
Yeah. Thank you.
that's the finer point of that little humidity.
Yeah.
So after the wonderful 5 years freezing your butt off in Boston, where'd you
I
go next?
really, I really miss back home. So I returned to Israel, and I got into the Young Artist program of the Israeli Opera in Tel Aviv, which I am very fortunate to have had this opportunity to be in, because wow, I sang so many roles with them. I performed like with the biggest orchestras in Israel. Conductors and directors from all over the world came to work with us. And it was just really an exceptional experience. And after these 2 years at the Young Artist program, I started singing main roles with the Israeli opera, which was a dream
Amazing.
coming true, really.
Yeah.
I am so grateful for the Israeli opera, who is giving me like a really smooth
Yeah.
start to my career,
Yeah.
which is not
Yeah.
so easy to start.
It's amazing. What was your first role with Israeli opera?
I sang, so when I was in the studio, I sang smaller roles, like
Hmm.
I did Kate Pinkerton in Madame Butterfly,
Yeah.
but then my first big role, main role, was Norina in Don Pasquale.
La
Um,
la.
yeah, and since then I have been singing a lot with the Israeli opera,
Hmm.
and also I'm really broadening my career currently in Europe. So I was very fortunate to sing last year with the Salzburg, the opera theater in Salzburg, and in Graz,
That's
and
amazing.
in some festivals in Italy. And yeah, I'm growing it slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually now, just before this pandemic started, I was in a production in Belgium, in
Hmm.
Liege, the Opera Royale de Wallonie. We were doing La Sonnambula with an amazing cast and an incredible conductor and an incredible film director who really did a very fascinating work with us.
Hmm.
And we got to do a full month of like really intense rehearsals. And the day before our premiere, the government in Belgium has decided to cancel all culture and
Oh.
sports events. So I had to
Oh.
find a flight
Oh
back
my
home.
God, that is so dramatic.
It is. It is.
So
It's really.
dramatic. Do you have any idea? Do you know if it's postponed or if it's just it has to be
It
completely
is.
canceled?
It is postponed for 3 years from today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
But it was like we did get to do our dress rehearsal. The opera house was very determined that we are going to go on with the show until the government stops us.
Yeah.
So we really like were together until the
Till the very
like
end.
everyone. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness.
And I found the last flight back from Brussels to Tel Aviv. Like it was the last flight, literally.
Oh my
And
God.
then all borders were were shut down, were closed.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I can't even like imagine the like, well, what if you didn't? And what if, that would, oh, geez. But you
Yeah.
did. You got there.
I did.
You did. You
And
did.
my husband was very happy.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's so stressful for your partners. It's so
Yes.
horrible. But you're home in Tel Aviv. You're safe. You're healthy.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am. I'm healthy and safe. I
That's
had to
good.
be in a 2 weeks quarantine
Yeah.
after I got back from Belgium
Yeah.
because that was the law here in Israel when everything started. And yeah,
Everything's
so
okay. What is it like
yeah,
what's it like in Israel? Are you still in like lockdown or are things starting to come
no. So
back?
things are really starting to free up.
Mhm.
I mean, the restaurants are open again,
Mhm.
and the only thing which is currently shut down is all theaters
Right.
and you know everything which is more than 100 people
Right.
crowd cannot take
Yeah.
place. So besides the opera house, everything.
We're just waiting.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, walk us through. So let's maybe like get a little bit of like a picture of what the career of the opera singer is. So it seems also magical. It's like, okay, so I got this thing. Well, how do you get those things? How is the audition process? What is that like in throughout Europe? What like do you have? Is there
Wow.
like a time where you go and you audition for a bunch of things, or is it house by house?
So it is very intense and chaotic, I think,
Yeah.
because yeah. First of all, as a young artist who did not have an agent, I had to go on Yap Tracker, which
Yeah.
is a database of all auditions in the world, basically. And then you have to find your auditions and apply for them. And when you receive an audition because your application was approved, then you are invited to an audition. And it's usually for young artist program in Europe. For bigger houses, um, it's not that easy to get an audition unless you have connections or a really good agent, or they heard about you somehow and they invite you for an audition.
Mm-hmm.
And also, once you get it, I had some auditions where I got the audition and I had like really good auditions. I had really good feedback, but it's still not that easy to receive the job
Right.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I
so
like the
I
way
found
like symphony players talk about it, where they say that you win the job, that
yes,
like I mean that is it, right? It is like it is so competitive. There's
it is so
so many singers. Everyone is great, really
yes,
great. You know, it is just it's difficult. It's tough.
yes.
Yeah.
Um, so and also it is pretty expensive. I mean, going to auditions from Israel to Europe,
Mm.
it costs a lot of money. You have to pay for your flight, for all the expenses, trains and for accommodations and for everything, and everything abroad, of course, is more expensive because
So
you eat
much.
outside. And so it is a journey. And at one point in my journey when I got an audition, I got a main role somewhere, I will not say where. And I was singing a main role, and I was having a really hard time because even when you get sometimes to a place and you feel super lonely, you sleep in a hotel or Airbnb and you meet all these new people all the time. And sometimes it is still super competitive, also when you are already in a production and
Oh
you
my God.
feel politics, intrigue, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And there was a time 3 years ago when I really, during that production, was going to my Airbnb place and just crying after each rehearsal because it was so rough.
Mm.
And then I sat down with myself after this production was over. Actually, it was a great success. We got amazing reviews, but just the competition really was apparent. Let's say it was really there.
It
And I
makes it
went
so
back
difficult
home.
to sing though, right? Because your body
Oh,
becomes it's you have to fight
yes,
your body, your instinct to shut down and disappear when you feel harshly judged, or you feel like someone is looking at you in a way that is not friendly, right? Your body does this
yes,
thing that in singing you have to melt and let
yes,
everything just it's got to go someplace else. You can't stay here. How did you
yeah.
manage
And
to sing through?
you are so exposed as well because I feel that my throat and my body is so connected to my emotions.
Yes.
I just had to I do a lot of meditation and yoga, so I just
Mm,
had to like really meditate and concentrate on freeing those places and
mm,
concentrating on the music, on my love of singing.
mhm,
And I really had a really low point, let's say, after this
mm,
production where I almost thought about quitting because I said, wow, I'm singing a main role in an amazing place and I'm suffering, I'm crying every day.
mm,
So I sat down with myself every day for a month and I really meditated and asked myself, like I did a, time out. I need now to look inside and see what's good for me. Um, and two things came to me during this time, during this month. The first thing was I cannot give up singing because it is part of who I am and I love it so much.
mm,
And the second thing that I realized is that since I was really young, I was volunteering a lot with mentally challenged children and with animals in animal shelters. And it's something that I kind of neglected since I started my solo career because I just didn't have time for it. And it is very self-centered sometimes.
yes. It's part of
um,
it. The ego is definitely there. Oh no, we
yes.
lost your video.
Can you
Okay,
see me?
yes, there you go.
Okay.
Got you. Okay,
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
that's okay.
Um, so I just it kind of came up with the meditation, and I realized that I have to go back to this part of me that really loves to to see other people, to be with other people in a sense of like giving to other people, not just my voice, but also something bigger than that. And so I've decided to start a video blog. Um, and my mission on this video blog is called The Good Deed Diva. And my mission with it is on my way to the top, let's say, or my developing my career, is to spread goodness on my path and to share ideas that I feel that which are really important for our world. I actually just released a video about for World Environment Day about the bees, how important they are for the ecological system of the world, and I'm singing the Flight of the Bumblebee by Rimsky-Korsakov in eight voices, eight voices. It's an arrangement of the Swingle Singers.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing stuff like I went to a competition in Moscow and I handed out a thing that is called Hamsa in Hebrew. It's like a charm, a good luck charm for other competitors before we went on stage, just to have this, to spread this awareness of we are sharing the same path and everyone has their own place in it, and we should be together, like even
Yeah.
though we are experiencing separate paths, we have to support each other and collaborate with each other and root for one another. And even though it is so competitive, I like to concentrate more on togetherness and yeah.
Yeah. I mean that because like the environment at like at school, right? So we, at a place like the Boston Conservatory, which maybe this is an anomaly, but I never felt that competitive environment. I felt very nurtured. I felt very loved. I felt
Yes.
very supported by not just the faculty and not just my voice teacher, but all the voice teachers and all of, I thought that everybody was rooting for each of us equally. And I
Yes,
never,
absolutely.
and if I had felt any sort of like, competitiveness with another singer, it was all from my own insecurity and my own fragility at that time in my life. And
Yes.
so, but it was not the culture there. It was very, very, very loving. And so to step out of that, my first
Oh my
audition
God.
season was that was I also nearly walked away completely, and in a way I did. I said I'm not going to chase the opera career. I don't think I'm cut out for that kind of competition and that kind of scrutiny. My skin is still very thin. And so I didn't do it. I felt very intimidated, and I completely walked back and was like, okay, well, what else could I do? And that was where I found my path into contemporary music,
Hmm.
which has now led to me singing so many different kinds of operas, including back to the Puccini stuff. But it was just like it was jarring. It was so jarring to go into the first
Yes.
audition room in the lobby, which is cramped, and all these singers are like, "Well, what's your rep? What's your rep?" And I'm just like, "What is wrong with you?" I was getting so excited because
Yes.
everybody sounded so good. I was like, "Oh my god, that was great!" And they were like, I was like, "I can't do
Yes.
this. What's wrong with you people?" But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just alarming. It's alarming. So I love that. I love that you're taking this and completely turning it on its head, because I think everybody feels the same way. And I don't think people are malicious. And I think they're sort of reacting to their own insecurities in that situation. And so, do you find that a room full of singers that are there to compete, do you find that people respond well to you, and that their inhibitions kind of melts, and they're like, you know what, yeah, we're in this together. Let's do this.
90% of the singers, yes, they melt and it was really moving
Yeah.
to do this video in Moscow. Some of them were so supportive, and I really made amazing friends. I mean, it was 2 years ago, and we are still in a very close contact until this day. Some of them were very concentrated and like, please do not disturb me right now. And I, I
Okay.
mean, it's before a
Yeah.
competition and
Yeah.
it's
It's
fine.
work.
They came all
Yeah.
the way from, yeah. Um, and I respect that, and
Sure.
that's fine. But the people who did let me in, and it was very moving. And also the day after I brought these charms, these good luck charms, then another person brought flowers to everyone as a continuous gesture, and it was really really moving to see that. So I feel that it's like pass it forward, you know, it is
Mm-hmm.
powerful, and everywhere I go to, I try to bring this set of mind with me. And when I'm in a
Yeah.
production, I try to give the spotlight to other singers who are with me. So I will do an episode about the baritone or the tenor or the other soprano
Yeah.
um, with me in the production, or the conductor, the director. So it really unifies us, and I don't know, it changes something in the way people look at you and
Yeah.
even react to you.
Yeah, and it just makes for a better work environment too, right? You
Yes,
know, especially for singers, like we were just saying that like the heart, the brain, they're not separate systems. You know, they
yes,
communicate and are just completely interwoven. And so for me, the first thing the thing that betrays me the most when I'm feeling nervous or I'm feeling insecure is my voice. It's the thing that gives me away when I'm
yes.
nervous, you know, my breath goes and it's like I can't. That's the thing that I need the most, you know? And so
Hmm.
it's a completely different everybody you want everybody to do their best, right?
Yes,
It's being a good colleague, right? Just root
yes,
for
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've been carrying on this blog now for 2 years.
Yes, 2 years. I At the beginning, I was really good. I posted a video every week.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. And then it is a lot of work because I had to learn how to film with a camera, like a really nice camera that I bought, and I had to learn how to edit videos on Premiere Pro, which is really, really, it was a task.
Yeah.
And also thinking of new ideas all the time and being consistent. It's something like the first 6 months were incredible, and then
Yeah.
I was doing pre-productions while getting married, and
Yep.
so I kind of stopped making videos for a while, and now I'm coming back to it. Actually, thanks, or I don't know if thanks to the coronavirus, but
Yeah.
due to the coronavirus,
Due to the let's not thank
yeah,
Corona. She deserves no thanks.
no thanks.
No, thank you.
Exactly. So due to the coronavirus, all the productions are canceled currently, and I have so much time at home. So I'm kind of reinventing myself as a vlogger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I love it. It's just it. I think that so many people have this misconception of the opera and the opera singer as being a very serious artist, and not a one opera singer that I know is a serious person. It is very
yeah,
silly.
it is. It is.
Yeah, the whole thing, the soprano, just the
Yes.
whole thing. It's totally silly. Yes, nothing about it is realistic. It's all ridiculous and over the top, and that's why I love it. It's just so much, you know. And so it's nice. It's nice that you're kind of like you're just taking away all these layers, these veneers, this facade, and saying actually opera
Yes.
singers are pretty kind and really supportive of each other and completely goofy. Like
Yes.
totally bonkers. It's really nice.
Absolutely.
I love
Yes.
that you are
And it's
writing new lyrics to all of these opera diva songs. I thought that was so good.
thank you so much.
Sorry, what
Yeah,
were you gonna say?
I was a bit intimidated to post this video, especially because I posted on Facebook and on YouTube, and I have many friends who are like big conductors and
Yeah,
directors.
yeah.
Like, what will they think about me? I mean, I had already one conductor who told me you should only sing like optimistic, fun, light stuff because he saw my videos, and so I think from time to time what my image kind of like, I don't know. It
Yeah.
does not look like a diva,
Yes.
the typical diva, but I'm just letting my inner self out and being true to myself. I feel and authentic to my own heart and voice.
Yeah.
I feel that this is what I have to do right now at this point in my
Yes.
life. Yeah.
Yes, but because, nothing is the same, even in the opera world, the path to the career is not really the same as it was even 20 years ago. It's very different, and
Absolutely.
especially with social media, even in the classical arts world, each individual musician has to cultivate that and has to kind of decide what is their online presence going to be, because conductors and directors look, they
Yes.
they're going to Google you. They're going to go to your website, and they're going to go to your Insta, and they're going to go to your YouTube. And so I think that you putting out these videos that are so authentically you, that show exactly who you are and how wonderful and lovely and vivacious and a freaking great singer, so great
Thank
that
you.
that it's like this
Thank
perfect,
you.
amalgam of wonderfulness, that it's, I personally, if I were casting, I'd be like, I want to work with that girl. She seems fun, you know? So it's like, it's the
Thank
right
you.
thing. It's so good. It's so smart.
Thank you, Leslie. You're so kind.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
and thank you for letting us, for sharing the divas in quarantine with us. I appreciate
My
it. I think it's
pleasure.
so perfect, and you sound so good. You sound so
Thank you.
good. I love it.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
darling, so I think this is a good place, the period at the end of this sentence. So don't you end all of your good deeds divas with wonderful high notes?
Yes, we have to say thank you for watching and spreading goodness.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
Here we
Yes.
go. Thank you
Thank you
for
for watching
watching and
and